Sky Squad, we are back in the building. And of course, we got to talk about Love and Marriage DC. Episode 2, The Coldest Winter Ever. Okay. Now, first of all, let me just say this. I feel like if you're going to be naming an episode after a cast member that is not featured in the main titles, I'm going to feel like you need to add her to the main titles. Okay. That's just what I'm saying. Because listen, Miss Winter is given. I mean, and it is what it is. Okay. She is bringing something, she's throwing a monkey wrench into the marital, what do we call it? Each couple is going through a different phase in their marriage. This show reminds me of Why Did I Get Married, the movie series, but it almost feels like a series instead of a movie. And the reason I say that is because each of the couples, really, except for Jamie and Arena, seem to be contemplating what it takes to make a marriage withstand the test of time. So we have Chris and Monique, who are approaching their 10-year anniversary. We have Ashley and Quick, who are at 13 years. And then we have Jamie and Arena, who are at 26 years. And then we have Miss Winter Williams, who is at the 6 month mark. Okay. And it's not looking too good. Now, let me know what you guys thought of this week's episode. I'm going to give this week's episode, I'm going to give it an 8 to 8.5. I think I'm gonna give it an 8 because I feel like this was an episode where we really get to just learn more about each of the characters. And I will say that I think that that's needed for a show like this where we're meeting new people, we're trying to figure out who they are, where they fit in the landscape of reality TV, because this is a very different show than Love and Marriage Huntsville. It is very different all around. I feel like the men treat the women completely different. I feel like the women overall seem to have much stronger energy, I would say, as it relates to how they relate to their men. And we'll see a bit of that play out in this episode. And we'll also get to see what is the sort of what is causing some of the strife within some of the newer marriages, as opposed to what caused strife in one of the longer lasting marriages. Okay. And so we're going to dive into all of that. But let me know what you guys will rate it in the chatterization down below, what your thoughts are about it. And we're just going to go on through the episode and we're just going to discuss every little nook and cranny of it. Okay. I like having these pictures up here. I did make graphics for each of the couples because I thought it might be helpful sometimes when I'm talking about a particular couple, if because they're so new to a lot of viewers, I felt like it might just be helpful to have photos to kind of coincide with, obviously, you guys know Chris and Monique if you have been watching reality TV, but you may not know Ashley and Quick as well as you might know Monique and Chris, or you might not know Jamie and Arena as well. So I think it helps to have these visuals as well. And then you also, of course, will have to get to know Winter during the season. So just in taking a look at the cast all together, we start off with Monique and Ashley at Art and Soul. I think I've been there for dinner, maybe. I can't remember. But anyway, Monique is reflecting on her past 10 years of marriage and things that haven't been happening that she feels like needs to happen. Um, Ashley talks about having the 7-year itch and how she's in the space of not having her dreams fulfilled. And Monique warns her of what, you know, basically, like now that Ashley is putting herself out there, she's kind of warning her that to kind of wait and see what the support looks like coming in her direction now that she's stepping out on her own and doing things for herself will Quick be as supportive of her as she was of him? Because Monique, I'm assuming, feels that maybe she's in that space now. In fact, she is in a space where now Chris has done what he's done. He's made a name for himself. He's had a successful career. And now Monique feels like it's her turn to go out and do the things that she's wanted to do. And she is struggling with the level or the amount of support that she feels that she needs, and with the amount that Chris feels like he is giving. Although I will say that what I do like about Chris is that he seems very willing to lend her that support. And I will tell you guys this: if you know Chris Samuels, I can definitely tell you that he loves that woman to the pieces. Okay. And so I am certain that with whatever time and effort and patience, that he's going to get to that right spot that she feels like she needs him to be at. But I also feel like she's going to have to be patient and work with him, because this is at a space where she wants it. And so they've got to be able to work their way to a middle ground with that. All right. Monique feels like she needs to tell Chris what to do, like tell him what to do to pitch in with the kids. And in my mind, I don't know if this is possible, but I think maybe at a certain point in relationships, and I'm, no relationship expert just yet, okay? But I would say that maybe it would be a good idea to write out a household plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's write out some of the things and responsibilities that need to be taken care of, and let's maybe divvy them up. And each week we look at the schedule and say, hey, babe, can you do this instead of me doing it, because I have XYZ event coming up? And really looking at the marriage as also like a business, because I think what can happen is, over the course of time, one person ends up taking sole responsibility for one aspect of their lives, and the other person may grow resentful because they feel like they've always been doing it, and you don't maybe have to work that way any longer. Maybe come up with a new plan that works for the two of you guys. And in my mind, that could work. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, Ashley feels like she can't really get any help because Quick has, all these gigs and everything. And then when he does have the kids, he has to bring in a squad of parents and parental figures and this, that, and the third, or whatever the case may be, to help him take care of these kids. All right. Monique invites them over for a vegan dinner with the chef, and they discuss, whether or not they want to have more kids. We learned that Ashley is going to have underarm Botox so she doesn't sweat under her arms. And I'm telling you guys, Botox is good for a lot of things. And I think I mentioned to you guys that I got Botox in my cheeks so that I could stop my teeth grinding. And I did do a video on that, so you guys should be seeing that very soon. I'll talk to you about the whole process and whatnot. So that'll be coming out pretty soon if it's not out already. Okay. She does say that her underarms now kind of resemble a coochie for some reason, and that, if ever she don't feel like, doing the thing with her lady parts, she could always use her armpits until she gets the Botox under the arms, because they provide some moisture, and there was a flap or something under the arm or something like that. I don't know. So I'm assuming that the thing would go under the armpit like so, in a back and forth motion like that, and that would sort of make sure that he was satisfied should she not feel like using the lady parts or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So Ashley, you may want to not do the Botox, because some nights you may just be tired, and a little armpit action might work for him. Anyway, Quick is at the radio station. Okay. Uh, they had built a studio in the office at the DTLR, and he's been the voice of DTLR since 1998. I'm gonna be for real with you. I did not know that DTLR had a radio thing, a majig, but I'm impressed because I knew that DJ Quicksilver had been. If you live in the DC area, you know that name, and you know that name is everywhere. But I just did not know where he was based out of when he's doing his radio show. Anyway, he works very closely with his manager slash partner, Sean, and they've been in business for 25 years, especially since Quick's dad has died. Now, the guys from CIAA are coming in because CIAA moved to the Bmore area. I did not go to this one this past year. I had been to CIAA when it was in Charlotte in the past and had an absolute blast. I helped a friend of mine sell some books because they would always have vendors and stuff like that there. And it was always a good old time. I don't know how it was in Baltimore. I saw photos and people seemed like they was having a good time, but I just didn't feel like going. So anyway, they want him to be a part of it, but we learned that Quick is already overbooked. We learned that he's worked himself into exhaustion before and landed himself in the hospital, and he's now nervous about telling Ashley. He got about 15 gigs, and I'm not lying, 15 gigs. Monique heads to WPGC for a meeting on the radio. They want a mom. She's already been on TV already. She did a guest hosting gig there. And I can tell you on a personal level, Monique has always been on this trajectory of wanting to be in the talk space. Because I don't know if you've ever met Monique before, but Monique is a talker, which I personally love because I could literally sit and talk. She's somebody that you can literally sit and talk to for hours, okay? And it could be nonstop, and you can it's almost like an excitement where everybody is sitting around and you almost overtalk each other because everybody wants to talk. She just got that type of energy. I can't really explain it to you no other way than that. So talking on the radio to me is the perfect outlet for her to get all of her talking out, okay? Now they warn her that she's gonna have to be up early in the morning at 5:30. She okay with it. But they like, girl, are you gonna be bringing your reality TV drama up in here? Okay. And she says that if some drama comes to her, she gonna handle it. And we done seen proof that she can handle the drama. Okay. But she is wondering if she assures them that she's gonna be able to handle everything and manage the kids and all that stuff like that. And she just needs to make sure that Chris is on board. They let her know that, well, girl, we still interviewing, so the jury's out. We'll see. So come on back later, and if you hear from us, that means you got the job. If not, then you can get to stepping. But we all know she got the job. Spoiler alert: she did get the job because you can hear on the radio right now. Anyway, Chris meets up with Kevin, who is Winter's husband. Okay, now Winter, who we met in the last episode, she was telling us about her other divorce or whatever. We learned that, first of all, they meet at this place called All Set. All Set is a seafood spot that is banging, okay? It is one of my favorite seafood spots. I can tell you the food is so good. If you ain't never been there and you are in the DMV area, you must make your way to All Set or get yourself some Uber Eats from the All Set, okay? Actually, I might order some tonight. Anyway, it's a little late for that, but never mind. Anyway, he's meeting up with Kevin. Kevin says he just got divorce papers, and she's made it clear that he better sign those papers. We do get a flashback of Winter in her audition tape, and they're talking about how much sex they have. And I do not like it when people get on the reality TV show and talk about all the relations they are having. Oh, we're just having so much relations 15 times a day. Because I always think you're lying, okay? And I always think when you telling us that you haven't set the sex, okay, that many times, that you hiding something else, okay? Something ain't right if you telling us all of that, because I feel like you can imply that you have a very good marriage, okay? And you ain't got to tell the world that, oh, you doing the nasty 15, 18 times a day. I just never believe it, okay, to me. Because do you work? Okay, do you have a job? Like, what's happening here? Maybe if there was a little less of the sex going on, maybe there would be a little less scandal going on, okay? Because maybe business will be being handled, okay? Because clearly some business won't be handled, because we learn that he's been accused of allegedly taking money from his company and using it to take his kids ice skating and whatnot. Now, he said he ain't never even been to the ice skating ring. And I would actually warn people against it, because to me, ice skating feels very dangerous. I fell one time and it felt like it took me an hour to hit the ground. And when I did, it was a calamity, baby. It hurt. And then I was scared that people was going to roll over my finger with their ice skates and chop off my finger. I was like, this is too much for me. But anyway, he says that if all of that never would have happened right after they got back from Tulum, where everybody was going during the pandemic, okay, um, that they would still be together. Then there's some talk of some bankruptcy, court dates, and whatnot. And I can't tell you honestly what the real scenario is with this man, but I almost feel like I don't know him well enough to know this much information about him. I need a primer on each of the cast members. If you guys could put together a slight little reel of us for each of the cast members. That way, when they are speaking about something, because we are still new in this, we've been dropped in this world. I need to know a little bit more and get more familiarity with this man to really understand the nature of all that he's doing. But I guess maybe you guys are going to serve that to us on a mystery platter, okay, a la a Scooby-Doo episode, and have us figure out who this man is in the end, okay? And I'm here for it. I'm here for a little scandal, and I do mean Olivia Pope style, okay? Anyway, he was apparently accused of love bombing his wife by the kids, because he would shower her with breakfast in bed and whatnot. And Chris is like, well, dang, I need to get back to that place. But he feels like, Chris feels like he's trying to get back on that romantic path, but he's willing to put in the work, because he feels like his wife is worth it. And Kevin gets emotional about his and Winter's kids and not being around them. So then we get a scene with Jamie, Quick, and Neil meeting up for drinks, okay? Neil is a friend to the show, along with his wife, Tasha, who used to do Monique's hair, actually, when she was on Real Housewives of Potomac. But Tasha also has several other businesses, and so does Neil as well. I know this because I've met them, and they are very lovely people. Now, we learn more about J&J Entertainment, which is Jamie's entertainment company, because Jamie has done party promotions and stuff like that for years in the DMV area and across the country. And so apparently they have some competing events when it comes to CIAA. And Quick wants to know how Arena feels about him getting back into nightlife. And he says that she doesn't like it, but she knows that it's his passion, and she's not going to get in the way of him making that guap, okay? And he says that she's not the jealous type anymore. But pause on that, because we're going to come back to that. Now, over to the Samuels house, the chef is prepping the vegan dinner. She recaps the meeting at WPGC, and she feels confident about it, but tells him that he's going to have to hold it down with the kids in the mornings. And she's ready for her man to take the reins, that he seems like he's ready to handle it. He relays that he had a combo with Kevin and how Kevin wants Winter back. And now Chris is just confused. And Monique says, Kevin has swindled you, Chris. He has swindled you. He is like the Tinder swindler, okay? And when we get to how he swindled Winter, you guys will understand what I mean by that, okay? So anyway, Quick and Ashley, they meet up to have a little couples ponderosa before they go to Monique's house, because Quick is like, I'm not trying to eat all this vegan food, and I don't know what it is, and so let me get some crabs beforehand so I don't go over there hungry and not having nothing to eat. He recaps his meetings and tells her he has about 15 events in 3 days, and now she's annoyed because she's like, I'm going to have to miss events because now I'm going to have to take care of the kids and manage all of their events, and then I'm going to have to deal with you being cranky because you got all of these events, okay? She says she's exhausted and tired of dealing with this same cycle over the years, and she wants to feel appreciated. And he immediately tells her that he appreciates her. And it just resonates with me how different the men on this show are than the men on Huntsville. But we'll see about that. Anyway, Everyone converges on the Samuels' residence, and we learn that's what we learned, that Tasha and Neil are joining them, and Tasha used to do Monique's hair. And then Arena wonders if there's going to be DoorDash because she don't do the vegan. Okay, Winter arrives, and Ashley immediately says Winter is not her type of girl. Ashley feels like she likes to turn up and drink and stand on tables, and she feels like Winter would turn her nose up at that. Now, just a bit of tea from the premiere party, I can definitely tell you that Ashley is the life of a party type of lady, okay? And Winter was definitely more played the kind of background, chill, calm, and Ashley was definitely more the turn up, and it was enjoyable to watch all the different dynamics, okay? Now, meanwhile, we learned that Monique is homeschooling her kids and she about to take them kids to Africa. Okay. And low key, all y'all need to be going to Africa because I mean, and high key, I'm about to move to Africa myself because I just feel like Africa is just where it's at. And if you ain't never been, please watch my videos that I've done on Africa because ooh, baby. I digress. Anyway, Jamie is asking a question. So this is interesting. Jamie asking a question about the giraffe manor or whatever, and Arena is saying, "Ooh, I've always wanted to go there." And then he puts his hand up like so. Okay, let me show you. I got to get big on the screen, like so, to shush her or whatever, like that. Okay, so she talking and he's okay. And so then Winter in her confessional is like, sir, you are not that drunk to be shushing her like that. That is very rude. And so then they get into a discussion about the panorama, okay? And Jamie wonders if they are concerned about traveling during the panorama. Monique says that she does not live in the fear. Chris and Monique reveal that they have had the panorama twice. She talks about being left upstairs by herself and not being fed while she was sick. And at this point in time, Chris is like, now, wait a second. You're not going to make it seem like we left you upstairs by yourself and you had to fend for yourself. And he said, Monique is always talking about how she's so busy and hasn't had enough sleep. So when I would go check on her and wake her up, he would get yelled at for waking her up. She says that was pre-panorama. And then they get into it about it, whose turn it is to speak. She says, well, go ahead then. And he tells her, shush, okay? And she said, and she's like, well, you about to ruin this dinner. They about to get rowdy. He says in his mind, he was going to let her sleep. And then she said something about it. And then he started texting her and bringing her what she needed when she was sick. So he was like, don't say we weren't attending to you. And Monique is like, I didn't say that. Chris says, roll the tape. Production replays the scene, and Monique did in fact say what she said she did not say. Now, Monique, gonna have to go ahead and get on you, girl. You was wrong in the scene. You was wrong in the scene. And they proved it. Okay. Um, girl, you got to take the L on that one. But what I like about this situation is that she takes the L, and she says she wasn't trying to throw him under the bus, and he apologizes as well. They apologize to their guests for showing out, they kiss and they makeup or whatever. But it was funny because I was like, "Ooh, production, yes." Y'all better put, he said, "Roll the footage back." I love it. He didn't waste no time. Roll it back, and roll it back. They did. Okay. Anyway, Monique then turns to Jamie and Arena and tells them, like, we wanted more from y'all at y'all Ponderosa, and we didn't get enough about what makes y'all marriage work or whatever. Jamie says that Arena has stuck with him through his BS, but they are now at the best place of their lives. Ashley's like, yeah, BS, but what was the BS? Okay. Arena says she felt like him being in the club scene was the problem, and Jamie is like trying to dead this conversation. And Winter wants to know, well, what makes a woman push past whatever they went through or whatever. And Arena says, well, I never caught him cheating. She says she heard stuff from other people, but she never caught him with anyone. But she feels like she saw messages and things like that from other women. And she feels like even just having those conversations outside of the marriage is cheating. So he says that he admits, well, yeah, I was in the party world. And, I'm sure people come up to you quick as well, And Ashley is like, don't be trying to blame the job on what you doing and or what, okay? We don't know what the what is because he was never caught, okay? Is it cheating if you don't get caught? Anyway, so they asked Winter what's going on with her. She tells the story about finding out 6 months ago that Kevin, her man. Okay, let's get back to my PowerPoints. Okay, that Winter's man. She says she found out that his business was being sued for multi-million dollars, and his business partners were pulling out because they found out that he had taken money. So he left and went back to his parents' house. And Monique says, I told y'all he lived in his mama basement. And Winter says that he was going to, he said that he was going to fix it. And that was 6 months ago. And she hasn't seen him in that period of time. Ashley is like, girl, how long did y'all know each other before y'all got married? Winter says, well, a year. But I'm a relationship coach. So I asked all the questions and I had my family check him out and everything. And all that was amazing. Girl, you didn't do a deep enough dive into his whole facts. And Chris and Monique, y'all have known this man for years. How did y'all not know that this man lived in the basement? Y'all remember that show Passions? Y'all, it was a soap opera that came on, and there was a witch on there named Tabitha, and she kept some stuff down to the basement. That's where that man was living at. Monique and Chris, how did y'all not warn this girl? See, listen, I got questions. Okay, I got a lot of questions. Y'all done known this man a long time. Why don't y'all know where he lived? Why didn't you know he lived in his mama's basement? And as a grown man went and then Ashley asked the question of the night. Okay. Well, before I get to that, Chris tells the group that he had dinner with Kevin, and he's saying that he's still madly in love with her. And she says, my issue isn't love. It's that he lied to me. Okay. And he told her that he lived in a basement apartment. Okay. And she said, it's a difference between you living in a basement apartment in Georgetown and you living in your mama basement. And Ashley is like, well, you didn't ask him that. Oh God. And Winter is annoyed. Okay, she is getting annoyed. Ashley's about to turn her all the way up. But Winter is saintly. So she's not gonna turn up in that manner. But Ashley's here for a good time. So am I. And so Ashley says, I wouldn't go into a marriage when I ain't seen where they live before. And that's a good point. I need to see where you live. I need to see, that's part of the whole facts. Knowing where they live at, I got to see your place. I'm not going to just go by what you tell me. Let me see it. I need to walk over there and see it. And then I want to see who live. I mean, if it's a basement apartment, you better not be able to get up into that other apartment upstairs because I want to know who live up there too. And if it's a way to get up there and the door is unlocked, that tells me you living with some relatives, okay? And so Winter, I don't know. Listen, you need to start asking some different questions and you need a different structure for your whole facts and trying to figure out what it is that you want in a man and where they live at. Okay, you need to add that to the line. It's actually line number 25B on the whole facts questionnaire. Where do you live? Who do you live with? How many roommates do you have? Because that's a trick question right there. And is anybody else living with you? Whose name on the deed? If you want to go in deep, that's what you can really do. But anyway, we're gonna get into that, all that and more next week because next week's episode looks super lit. So we're gonna find out some more answers to these questions, hopefully, allegedly. Otherwise, we're gonna have to try to do some investigating ourselves, and I'm gonna have to ask them to cast some questions, okay? Because I need some answers. All right, so that's the review for Love and Marriage DC. Let me know what you thought of this episode of Scandal. Love and Marriage DC, because that's what it's feeling like. It's feeling like an episode of Scandal to me, and I think I might need to hire Olivia Pope to help me come find out what's the real tea going on with Kevin, because I need to know and understand how all this came about. All right. Anyway, that's it. Y'all know I love y'all. We're gonna be tuned in next week to find out what's going down with all this drama. And I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. Okay.